So RuneScape Mobile since the release has had quite a few bugs and issues as it has been in beta for a long time. Now that it's had its full launch, there is still some things that are being dealt with, some issues that people still are having, but there is a few things that I know do have solutions and fixes. So I put a post out there onto YouTube asking you guys what your main issues with the actual client are, and I know that I do have a couple of fixes at least that, while they may not work for everybody, will work for some of you. That being said, I am also wanting to make this video to sort of pull a little bit of attention towards all the things that could be worked on RuneScape Mobile as well, as you guys shared all of that, and I think it would be a good idea to maybe put that together in a video talking about the things that could be improved on, the things that players themselves are actually having the most issues with, and see if, you know, one day maybe it gets picked up and looked at. And if there's another tweet where I see JMods asking about anything to do with what could be worked on, what's the main issues, then maybe I can just link it to them or send them a message and just say, look, we've done this is what all the community people are saying. If you want, you can use that information, and it's all there together for you. Anyway, if you enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. If you find any fixes in here, do subscribe to the channel if you are new. And also, one quick disclaimer before we get started: the fixes mentioned in this might not work for everybody, but they will work for a lot of people, and that's important to know, because if it doesn't work for you, then it could be anything from down to what device you're using to your connection or anything like that whatsoever. So let's just jump into this and see what we can do. Okay, so the first problem, and probably the most important one, the biggest one, the most common one that I see everywhere, and I know I have a fix for that's going to help a lot of people, because I know that when I've mentioned it in the past, people have gone, holy crap, it's fixed. Thank you. While this won't work for everybody, it is definitely worth checking to see if it works. So what we are talking about is the comment that says, main issue for me is not being able to look at another app for more than 5 seconds, otherwise it'll log you out. Not being able to quick chat is also annoying. So the first bit, the main bit that we're talking about, is going to be the not being able to look at another app for more than 5 seconds. If you minimize the game and you come back to it because you've looked at like another app or anything, basically you've been logged out. Now, why is this? 9 times out of 10, if you check on your phone right now, if you're someone who experiences this, make sure that your power saving mode is off when you play RuneScape. If you want to tab out of the game, turn power saving mode off, and this won't be an issue anymore. The reason being is when you have power saving mode on, your phone will automatically sleep any sort of background apps that are not being used to save yourself more power. And of course, what happens if your client goes idle? Well, Jagex puts you to the lobby because you're not in the game. There's no connection lost. What happens when you get connection lost? You go to the lobby. This is what causes this in most situations from what I could tell, and this does work for most people. This is what caused this problem for me, so I hope that this fix does work for you, as I am fully aware that you may want to tab out and look at the wiki for a guide or something, and it's kind of frustrating to know that every time you want to check your quest guide on the wiki on your phone, you're going to get logged out to the lobby. Turn power saving mode off. This should fix it. The next thing that I managed to fix for myself is actually going to be the game randomly crashing, or when you open an interface or do something very specific in game, the game will crash. Now, the people that think this is like a random thing, you may actually not have noticed that it may be happening on a regular basis, depending on what you're doing. So for example, you might think, oh, the game's randomly crashed again, but you may have just teleported to a random place, or you may have just opened a specific window, or maybe you've opened your bank. I think a bank opening is a big thing. Like, I think opening the bank in your game just crashing is actually a big pain in the ass, and I think this is something that isn't going to be fixed by this exactly like 100% of the time, but this is what I did that actually did make a difference, because I wanted to record stuff and it kept crashing in random places, or well, when I say random places, it was when I opened something like the bank, or maybe I wanted to go to my worn equipment thing. That would close it as well. So the fix that I had to this was to go into the actual game settings. So when you go into your phone, you go to the actual icon, and then if you hold tap on it on Android, I don't know if it's the same on iPhone, but I'm sure you guys will be able to figure out how to do this. Go into the actual information of the game and just clear that cache. Clear any data that's saved there whatsoever. There should be some other stuff that you can clear as well. I think it's the cache, and then I think it's just like game data or something like that. Anything that like that. You don't need to keep any of that there. Just clear it out and then try and restart the game that way. I know this may seem stupid, but for the couple of minutes it'll take for you to do this, is definitely worth a try, as I did notice a big difference. I mean, it could have been a coincidence in the timing of Jagex pushing out a patch for maybe my device, and then it just not happening anymore, right? But it seems like when I did this, this fixed that issue, and I no longer crash when I'm playing mobile. I can play for as long as I want now, and as long as my connection doesn't drop, then it's absolutely fine. That being said, that's another thing as well. If you have an unstable Wi-Fi connection that you are connected to, then if that drops or cuts out, or if it's intermittent or anything like that, that can also make you get forced to lobby, for example, if you're losing your connection. If you're going to lobby, if you're getting forced to lobby, the game isn't crashing, you're losing connection to the game. So there's a good chance that it's probably your internet connection. If the game is freezing or it's just closing or anything like that, then you want to just check your cache, maybe uninstall the game as well and reinstall it. It might not make a difference, but it is worth a try, and it could do a little bit of fixing for you. So one of the more common things that I have seen with RuneScape Mobile, the issues that people have, is going to be this one. Really need to be able to toggle the chat bar at the top. I've never typed on mobile, but it's always there when going to move out of the way of a boss mechanic. I will click on the chat bar and start typing to death since the boss wrecked me. Yes. So I'll start typing to death himself. Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. But the chat bar, the box, the chat window, you used to be able to minimize this completely. You used to be able to get rid of it and hide it. You can't do that anymore. You have to actually have it open all the time. It's always there, tiny little box, and you can extend it to make it bigger, right? So you can still talk to people, but you can't like get rid of it. And typing on mobile is a pain in the ass. It really is bad. And while that's not really Jagex's fault, because you kind of can't do anything about the fact that a landscape like keyboard on your phone is just terrible. It just is. And for people who type this way or text this way normally, I apologize, but you absolutely are insane, and you definitely need to just switch back to doing portrait texting. But being able to actually just remove the chat bar, not the chat bar, but like the whole text window itself, and hide it again like we used to be able to, would be such an improvement. I'm not sure why we would take a step back with that. It kind of feels like the chat window, how it used to be before they updated it, was better just because of the few extra things you could do. Whereas this one's more clear and easy to use, and it has more options, but it kind of needs a few of those other things back as well. Maybe just something that needs to be taken into account. The next one says, how do I get Revolution to work on mobile? My combat abilities never work unless I tap them. This isn't really one that fits into this too much as it's just a question, but I wanted to quickly plug something here for anyone listening that it may help. I have a couple of mobile guides available, and I'll link them both in the description below. One of them is a full user interface thing. They will tell you in here how to use the Revolution and stuff, along with many other things. But I'll link all my mobile guides in the description of this video, so head down there if that's going to be any use to you. I'm not going to show you how to do it in this video because it'll drag on too long, but yeah, hopefully that helps. The next issue comes from the Spanner, and for anyone wondering, I'm not just winding him up. That's actually our little nickname for him in the streams. But Fatboy says, can't quick chat response on mobile. Click boxes, interactions such as stick traps, anything tiny, have to really zoom in to see anything like that. Apart from that, it's great for AFK skilling. So yeah, this is true. This is a couple of things that are an issue. You can't quick chat on mobile, which I think you should be able to quick chat on mobile. This needs to be implemented like 2 weeks ago, or even sooner, because it's like typing on mobile is an absolute joke. But if you could quick chat, at least that might be a little bit easier, right? You may be able to communicate a little bit and respond to people's questions and stuff at least. And then if someone actually knows you play on mobile, they can send you a message through quick chat, which gives you the right click quick option, and you can just reply that way. Like it just kind of adds that extra couple of things. So definitely something that would be interesting to add. As for the click boxes, yes, there's a lot of issues with click boxes on mobile. This is definitely something that I assume they will improve in the future. But a lot of things, like you say, that are really small, the click boxes, you can even like click between them. It's crazy. Sometimes you'll click between something, it's infuriating. So you have to like zoom right in, and then you can slowly press on it. But a good fix to this that I've noticed some like kind of ish maybe is to hold tap. And usually if you are going to misclick, you'll still get the hold tap option for the right click and stuff. Like you'll still get the use option, but in the drop down menu. So I don't know how that works, if the left click box is just different to the right click. It probably shouldn't be. Maybe I'm just imagining things, but that always just seems to help me a little bit. So maybe give that a try. But these definitely are things that will need improving, especially if we wanted to get more people who are new to the game actually to stay around as well, because these will be frustrating and cause people to leave. So I know this next one we mentioned already for the actual like possible fix, right, of opening the bank is a roll of the dice. Will RuneScape crash? Will it open after loading for a few seconds? It definitely has gotten better. I used to not be able to open the bank at all. So this is something that, like I say, the fix that I mentioned may not work. It might not. So I wanted to include this again because this is one of the biggest things. Like people are crashing all the time from just opening their bank and stuff. And this is definitely something that needs to be worked on and kind of like found out what the problem is. I think this is device specific though. I really do. The reason I think this is because I used to have a Razer Phone 2 and I now currently have a Galaxy S20 or whatever it is. I don't know. But on the Razer Phone 2, I had literally no issues with RuneScape Mobile whatsoever. None at all. Literally 0 issues. None. It was crazy. But the second I moved over to my Samsung S20, the bank would be missing 80% of its icons, or it would just crash when I opened it, or all this sort of stuff, right? It had so many different issues, but then I would instantly be able to close that, open it on my Razer Phone 2 again, and it would be fine. It would load every single time straight away. Don't have to wait for cache or anything. It's already done in the background. So I do think they may have to push updates for individual devices, and I assume they do go for the more common ones at the time. I'm not sure why the Razer Phone 2 was so good. Maybe it shared an Android system with something else. I don't really know. But yeah, I think this is all device specific, so do hang around a little bit if this is an issue. It is a pain, I know that much, but I don't know, maybe at some point we can get some confirmation from Jagex on how this actually works, whether it is a device specific patch, or maybe there's some game developers in the comments section that can let us know a little bit of stuff. You know, you guys that are listening going, I know the answer to that, maybe I should comment it. Freaking comment it, let us know, because, you know, it's just like a bit of peace of mind. But personally, I know nothing about game development, so, I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully, it does get sorted, but it does need mentioning. The next comment says the invention components are not of easy access. As far as I know, I need to go through 2 menus in order to check them out since they aren't in the currency pouch. So to check out like things like your invention materials or your coin pouch or anything like that, you actually need to go into the worn equipment. And then go to the worn equipment stats, which is where you look at like all the stats of your worn equipment. Holy crap, that wasn't needed. And then you can scroll down to the bottom of that page and it will show you all of the actual like coin pouches and that sort of stuff that we're used to seeing in our inventory in game on the PC. It's just there nicely at the bottom, nice and tidy. Why isn't this on the inventory in mobile, Jagex? Just straight up questions on this. This has been ages, and I don't know how many times, like, just please. There may be a reason it can't be done. There may be a reason. It's just not there. Can we get it there, please? That's all I need to say. Put it there and it's sorted. The next comment says, my main issue is the interface. It's so clogged and missing information at the same time. It's crazy. So this is one of the true thing, right? The interface could use a lot of work, and I know it's kind of early days-ish from the launch, but I don't really know how hard it is to rework an interface. Again, this would be a question for you game developers or you mobile game developers if you are in the chat. Not in the chat, what the hell is it in the stream? But, like, I don't know. I feel like it can't be that hard, maybe? Maybe it is. But the UI seems pretty basic, or like the core bit. I don't know. Again, I'm clueless, but the UI and the interface 100% needs some work, like resizing stuff, just making it all fit nicely, making things work better. So like if you open your inventory but you also have your map open, it doesn't need to just be like massive. Just have like a little window and a scroll bar or something so we can still see our combat, because you can't have combat and the inventory open at the same time. The inventory overlaps the combat thing on the right hand side. Like these sort of things, just shrink the inventory down, have a scroll bar. We can cope with that. It's better than not having access to your abilities, right? So there's definitely a few things that could be done on this. I think most of them are pretty obvious, like we mentioned about the chat window as well. The map, just the map in general, I don't know, having things like overlapping and whatnot, this all needs reworking, but I assume this is things that work through in time. I think the mobile team's quite a bit smaller than the main game, of course, because it's just the app on the side, so it probably will take time, but it will happen. I kind of wish all this was done before they did the global launch of the actual app, because I feel like there was a big missed opportunity on players, but it is what it is, I guess, at this point. So now we're moving on to like more stuff for the UI, pretty much is where this all seems to be heading, but I think it needs another action bar. It's hard to do bosses like Art Glacier, not enough room to add everything like defensives and thresholds, food and potions. Other than that, it's okay. I've gotten to 697 in rage without using defensive so far. Frick, man, how have you what? How have you pulled No, that's not true. You've had to use devotion for the cannon, right? Like, and anticipate and stuff. There's no way. I don't believe that, man. Sorry, I just don't. Anyway, after calling you on that, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. We could use a little bit extra, even if it was 4 extra circles. Just 4 extra circles, or maybe you could add it yourself, like you could add like an extra 5, 6, 7, whatever, and as you added more they got smaller, but you could add it until you're used to be able to press that size button, right? So this is important, I think, and it would be really, really useful, because there's so many more action bar buttons that you could add on PC than on mobile, and you use them all on PC. There's a reason why I use them all, is because it's freaking useful to have all that stuff there quickly. You need it. So having this on mobile would be incredibly useful. Just having an extra few icons to just add keybinds into would make such a big difference. Finally is kind of like my biggest pet peeve with RuneScape Mobile, and I saw this comment very many times in this list of things, and I wanted to pull this one because they explained it pretty well. I got an 11-inch tablet with something resolution, whatever. I can't play mobile on my tablet because the app has what? A 400 HP resolution? Ability icons are the size of my thumb. It's insane. I have so much screen real estate on my tablet, and it's all being used up by a massive GUI. Kudos to all you tablet players out there. I can't handle it. So when you have a bigger screen, you should have a resolution option. I don't know if this is something they plan to add to the game later on, just add a resolution option to the thing so you can scale it up and down or whatever, but it seems like it's the same resolution set across all devices. So if you're on an iPad and you got a big ass screen, right, you load up the game and everything's just enlarged and stretched. Like, it still looks good, like it still looks fine, but everything's too big. You don't need it that big. Like, it's just enlarged. So giving yourself some more screen room, more space between icons, and then allow you to add more icons on would be incredibly useful. Yes, it would be kind of like almost feeling even more pay to win, because having an iPad will be better than having a phone, but it is what it is. And you could still scale it on your phone, right? If you scale the resolution up, then the thing shrinks. You have smaller icons, you'll just have to deal with that if that's what you choose to do, but at least you have more space to be able to do extra things. And I think this would be huge. I don't know if this is something they can do, whether they would have to rewrite a lot of stuff on the engine and whatnot. Again, not a game developer, but I feel like having it just scale and go large and large and like for a bigger screen is like such a wasted opportunity. This is something they may be working on in the background. We don't know. I don't want to like slag off Jagex or anything. This is all stuff that I just kind of want to happen in the future, and a lot of people want to happen in the future just to improve the thing. Like, we all want it to work, right? We all want it to be good. And the thing is, if it gets good, if it starts working, this could bring more players in. So many players play on only mobile. If you don't believe me, go and find this post on my community section and look at how many people say, I only play mobile, I only play mobile, I just play exclusively on mobile. I literally, like, it's insane. It's good. They've done a good thing. But it needs to be good. If the app was better, if the app was more finished and polished, holy crap, would our player count actually go up. It would be really good. And it's kind of disappointing for me in that sense, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's all the stuff that I'm going to rant about. This video is long, so the outro is not going to be long. Thank you to channel members for all the extra support you guys provide. Your names will be on screen at some point. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, I hope that some of the fixes helped and stuff. Don't forget to leave a like. It helps out a lot. Subscribe to the channel. If you're new, leave a comment down below. Even if you're just saying hello, I'll reply to as many as possible. I do try to reply to all of them, but then I do get lost once I upload the next video. That sort of thing. I try my best though. Anyway, other than that, I'll see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.